Hi and welcome to this All Request Friday video where I've been asked to show somebody something, so rather than tell them on an email, it's probably quicker and better to do it on a video. So we're going to look at two different ways that you can automate the filter on a synth. So the first one is going to be automating the synth directly, i.e. automating the cutoff frequency in this case of the synth using automation. The second one, we're going to use a filter inserted into the audio. So this is useful for synths where maybe you can't automate the filter or you're not getting the kind of sound that you want from them. So first things first, let's just concentrate on this track here, which is this one where we're going to automate the synth directly, and we listen to the sound that's on here. And we can grab the cutoff knob on the synth and get something interesting. So there's two ways we can generate automation data for this. We can either generate it directly or we can draw it in. So I'm going to show you both. So the first one is generating it directly, and to do that all you need to do is turn right on the synth in question. So this will create automation as you play. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of the song. I'm going to make sure it's turned down because that's what I want my starting position to be. Then I'm going to hit W here, and then I'm going to hit play. So you don't have to hit record, you just hit play. This effectively records the automation straight away. And then as it's playing, I'm going to just move this control. And you can hear that changing as I do it. And then you're going to bring it down and leave that like that. Okay, now there's nothing visible here. Okay, but first things first, whenever you've done that, make sure you turn right off, because all sorts of unpredictable things can happen. Often people end up automating their mutes and so on, and it can be a real problem trying to sort all that out. So as soon as you've finished, make sure you get in the habit of turning that off. Now, if we see the incredible disappearing automation lane, I've no idea why they make this control disappear, because it's one of those things that just confuses people all the time. Click that, we can see the automation. If we click on the volume, which is the currently selected part of automation here, we can see that anything where you've got automation on will appear at the top of the list with a star. So we can see the cutoff in capitals there of that synth is there, and when we click that, we can see the recording of what I've done. So in fact, I moved it smooth enough apart from here that it thought that was pretty much linear, and then I didn't quite do it here. So as with the other bits, you can edit it the way you would edit any automation data. I've got another video on that, etc. But when we play that back, it's going to do exactly what I did in terms of the control movement. We won't play through the whole thing, but you get the idea there. Okay, so you can write it directly by grabbing hold of the control. The other way you can do it is, let's say we'll just undo that creation of that there. What you can do is find the parameter in question. Now obviously we've already got this selected, but the way you would normally do it would be to go to More and then find your synth. Now in this version of Cubase, the synth's named after the track, but in some versions it's named after the synth. But you can see here they've changed that, so not all of them are called Tal Electro or whatever. So click here, and this is all of the parameters that can be automated, including some just called param, which who knows what they are. You know, have a bit of fun finding them out, but normally you can scroll through and find it. So there we can find cutoff. So there is cutoff, and then you can just draw it in as you would do any other bit of information, and then that will behave in exactly the same way. And often for doing things, if we wanted this to go up, let's say over 30 bars or so, you'd probably want to draw it in rather than try and do it by hand, because it's quite difficult, and you may not get the resolution on the controls that you can get by drawing it in. You know, you don't get the same level of control, and it's quite difficult to get that build up. Often you end up wanting a curve. This is one of the things that's hopefully going to be put into Cubase at some point, but you can approximate one with 3 or 4 points put in, and then we've got something there which will do the trick. Okay, so that's how you do it. If the synth in question has a filter on it, you can automate it like that. Obviously that automation process applies for any of these controls, so you could have done it on any of them, not just cut off. You could automate anything, and lots of them simultaneously as well. Next, if you've got a synth which doesn't have that on there. Now I don't actually have one, so I'm just going to use the same synth again. So we've got that there. I just need to change a couple of things about it here. Make sure that's Right, so this is the same kind of thing, and we can see obviously we'd want to do that, but let's say we've got a synth which you can't automate it, so we're just going to do it with another filter instead. So here on this track we're going to go to audio inserts, which may or may not be in a separate section depending on which version of Cubase you're on. Click in there, and then I'm going to put in the tau filter. Great free filter. So for that I normally turn the input drive and the resonance down, and then we can automate this in exactly the same way. So just very quickly pick that from here. So we go to more, go to insert, you see it's under there. We've got tau filter, we pick cutoff, and now we're going to put these points in just like before. Again, you could have created them with right and wiggling the knob, whichever. And we'll hopefully get to a point. Yeah, we can hear it. Now, one of the things with this is that the range of the filter on the tau filter is much greater than the one on the synth, so often you will need to scale appropriately. So the bottom of this filter actually needs to go up, so we'll probably drag that up a bit and then move that up, and then hopefully we'll start out with something. So you often have to find those points, and it may be that the top end is too high as well. So there you go. Filter automation two ways, either directly on the synth control or by inserting a filter. So tau filter is a great one to put in. It's free, 64 as well as 32-bit. There you go.